Looks like we're live. Welcome to another Property and Beers. Today we're going to chat about generational wealth, SDA housing, and this crazy 5% deposit this government has. So, uh, welcome to another round. We're going to crack open an old one and crack open the truth about property markets and property investing. So, what are we going to do today? We have Byron Bay Brewery. Let's get into you. Those that know. It's interesting. It's one I've had before, and I'll definitely go for it again. Right. So, legends. For those that don't know me, my name's Gaurav Gupta, CEO and founder of Ethical Property Investments. We help everyday Aussies invest in high cash flow properties that do good and make money. What a concept, right? So, tonight I want to have a chat to you about two massive conversations happening in the property market right now. First, there's a government, if you don't know, there's a government policy that's launching in October. That's next month, right? This isn't just about another tweet. It's a tidal wave movement. Imagine buying a $1.5 million property with just a 5% deposit. Sounds insane. Well, here's the thing. In a few weeks, that, my friends, is going to become reality. And secondly, NDI specialist disability accommodation. It's one of the most hyped, talked about, and misunderstood spaces in the property market. And as you guys know from my Four Corners episode, I do my best to tell you the truth about it, right? Now, here's the thing. Some people say it's the next big thing. Others say it's a minefield. Some people say it's a scam. Whatever that is, we're basically running an SDA Mythbusters 7 up next Tuesday at 6:30. So we're going to put the facts on the table. So tune into that one. Now, let's have a sip. By the way, if you're watching this, come say hi. I'd love to actually respond to your comments. Unfortunately, I got to them a little bit late last time. By the way, it's a bit noisy where I am because I'm at a conference at the moment. For those that haven't heard, don't know what it is, EOS, Entrepreneur Operating System. If you run a business of any shape, size, especially a little bit larger, it's great to actually have an operating system for your business. And hey, how's it going? Lovely to see you here again. And hopefully you enjoyed the Four Corners episode. Well, I told the truth. What a concept, right? Let's talk about the housing policy shakeup. October. The government's basically opened the floodgates up for buyers, all sorts of buyers, rich, poor, middle, everyone, right? What do you think is going to happen to the prices if the government's going to allow deposits as low as 5% with no income caps, high property limits? The demand, my friends, is about to explode. So if you're waiting to get into the market, it might already start being too late because people are what's going to happen between October and December, there's going to be a massive flurry of people of all sorts getting into the market for their property. And, it's an interesting thing, a matter close to my heart. Everyone right now wants to blame immigration. And the thing is, the kicker is supply isn't keeping up. This is not a problem that's happened for the last 2 years. This supply problem is not 2 years old. It's 20 years old. And that, my friends, is the real story. You can blame immigration all you want, but if you look at it for the last decade, on average, because we had that pause during that virus we had to have, right? Not going to say what it is online because who knows what the algorithms will do. We had a pause at that time. And guess what happened at that time? Property prices went up, rental prices went through the roof, while the population of Australia went down. I don't know. I'm not a rocket scientist, but it doesn't take much to put two and two together. The truth is, we've actually underbuilt for 2 decades. This is not 2 years in the making. This is 2 decades in the making. And these new housing policy changes are not going to make housing cheaper. They make it less affordable in the long term. And now you're saying, Laura, why are you talking about housing being more unaffordable? Well, here's the ethical angle. If you don't secure property right now, especially in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, the Eastern Seaboard, it might soon become impossible. And look, part of the challenge is, as Aussies, we want the big blocks. We want fewer people per house. In fact, there's more people living per house right now than before 2020. Doesn't make sense, does it? And we have some of the biggest, compared to the rest of the world, we have the biggest land to people ratio in existing houses. And so that's part of causing the problem. And of course, government tax increase is also causing the problem. Look, this model isn't sustainable. And whether we like it or not, we're going to have to look at smaller blocks. We're going to have to look at sky homes and apartments, just like places like Dubai, UAE, et cetera, right? Now, the thing is that if you're anywhere in Australia, except for Melbourne, right? Melbourne's a different trajectory. October could feel a lot like 2021 all over again, when prices went up faster than anyone expected. Mark my words. If you're not looking at investing now, it might already start to be too late. So let's zoom out. We're not talking about numbers on a spreadsheet. We are talking about for families. This could be the start of generational wealth. Whether you invest with us or you invest with someone else, whoever you invest with, my suggestion is if you're not already on the investment ladder, start doing it, because this is the time when generational wealth gets created, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, right? Look, buying now is more than like securing a lifestyle. I think it's about building a foundation that your kids and grandkids can stand on. You know, I dare say in 10 to 20 years, buying in our capitals in the Eastern Seaboard could feel as impossible as, some of the major cities around the world right now. And the decisions you make before October could shape your family's financial position for decades. I don't say this lightly, right? That's why I'm saying that, what I say isn't just smart, but I believe it's ethically better to invest in housing now, because in the future, the opportunity window might just simply be closed to you. And if you're keen on doing anything in the property industry, I'd say don't wait, right? Now, let's chat about, before I go to the next step, and if you're watching, come say hi, of course. Byron Bay Brewery, get it into you. Great brewery if you haven't been there. Definitely check out Byron Bay Brewery. It is a cool little hotel to hang out at. So let's chat about NDI specialist disability accommodation, hype versus reality, right? Now, those that watch the Four Corners episode, there's a bigger story. There's another hot topic. Like we're talking about NDI's SDA investing. Here's what I keep hearing. It's guaranteed. It's too risky. It's only for experts. I'm confused. It's too hard. Da, 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 da. In truth, it's none of those extremes. And that's why Tuesday's webinar exists, to myth bust SDA once and for all. So if you've ever wondered where the SDA property is as good as it sounds or just hype, Tuesday's webinar is actually going to give you answers. Like there's actually going to be no stuff. If you wanted to buy something, guys, guess what? We're not going to do any sales. I just want to deliver the best content I can to help you make an informed decision whether it's right for you. Because sometimes the hardest part about investing isn't the numbers. It's actually cutting through all the bullshit that exists out there. And, before you make your mind up about SDA, whether it's good or bad, check if what you've been told is accurate, right? We were fact checked before we got on. I was personally fact checked before I got on any of the things on ABC Four Corners. At the Four Corners report, they fact checked everything I said before they actually put it on air. So whether you've heard it's a gold mine or landline, we're going to strip it out, strip out the myths, lay down the facts, and let you decide if it's a right fit for your goals, right? That, my friends, is an educated investor. And look, whether it's the October policy shakeups or the myths around SCA investing, here's the big lesson. Don't make decisions based on headlines or hearsay. The people who take time to really understand the market right now are the ones that win. And that's, my friends, is why we run Properties and Beers. And I'd love to see you at the SCA Mythbusting webinar Tuesday at 6:30. And at the end of the day, property isn't just about bricks and mortar. It's about building a lifestyle, creating cash flow that supports you, and doing it in a way that actually makes a difference. So Australia's big block, low density dream isn't sustainable forever. And that's why timing matters now. And whether we like it or not, unfortunately, it might be too late for our kids to invest in the major regional capital cities. It's up to us to choose to figure out a way and not wait forever. Before you go, make sure you hit the follow page, Ethical Property Investments. That way you'll always stay ahead of the curve, get the insights, and be ready to make the smart, ethical decisions that also really cash flow positive. And thanks again for joining me tonight. Enjoy your beers. See you Tuesday, 6:30 sharp. Join me for the SDA Mythbusting webinar for 90 minutes. We're going to go for 90 minutes, right? Cheers, and see you guys on the flip side.